I'd love to do, I would love to do film scoring, but that just takes a colossal amount of time, and I don't want to miss out on my kids. I got 6 more summers, is how I'm looking at it. So as much as I can be present for them, or at least bring them along with me, that's my objective. That being said, I wrote a one-woman show. It's very immersive, and I think we're going to start doing it next year, and that will take some time, and it will travel. So bucket list, I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, I've been so lucky. I mean, honestly, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to keep writing songs. I want to take my kids places they've never been, like to Alaska and see the whales. You know, we're environmental freakazoids. We're those people on the beach that are picking up the plastic bottles and like, why don't you throw your plastic away? You know. But yeah, I mean, it's more bucket list personal stuff than career stuff now.
Okay, I'm going to be very careful of your time here and want to leave it open for a couple of questions. If you don't know the name, Sheryl, Dr. Sarita Stewart and Ken Spring run this class.
Oh, awesome!
So they're the reason that I'm here. We're here, and we're very thankful to them. And Ken Weinstein, who runs the media area with Big Hassle.
Awesome.
So before you walked in, I just mentioned that for me, I said Joni Mitchell, Emmylou Harris, Loretta Lynn, Alicia Keys, and I put you up in that category for me. I mean, that's wow.
That's very nice. I mean, honestly, those are some of my heroes, and I always say, without some of the women that have gone before me, even some of the men, but definitely most of the women that have gone before me have really. I would not be here. In fact, I will tell you a funny story. The other night, Stevie Nicks played at Bridgestone, and Nissan Stadium, and she played with Billy Joel. They co-billed, and she asked me if I would sing "Landslide." Now, I don't know what you guys will be like if you reach 30 years of being in the business, but for me, I still don't get, I can never get used to the person whose records, I mean, I remember how they smelled, and to get to sing this song that was like literally, I got my hair cut like hers, even though I know her, it's still like a big thrill. So I told my boys, I said, I want you guys to come to the Stevie Nicks concert with me. And they're like, Mom, we're gonna be so bored. And I said, no, I really want you to come. I said, you have to see one of the greatest female rock stars of all time, and I get to sing one of the greatest songs ever written with her. And so at the end of the show, I sang with her. At the end of the show, before she said goodnight, she announced that I had almost joined Fleetwood Mac, but that I had just adopted my 2 babies. And and she pointed at them, and they're in the middle of Nissan. They're just like, so, it was kind of a great moment, kind of a good mom moment.
If you had any advice for songwriters who are starting out and they want to stand out to industry professionals?
Oh, wow. Okay, so so the question was any advice for young songwriters and how to stand out for industry professionals. So it's interesting, like it's very different than when I first started, and I produced some tracks on my nephew's band, and some of the feedback I got was, well, what's their social media following and how many streams have they had? And it really, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it really pissed me off. To me, I think I will say the same thing I would have said 30 years ago, and that is to first and foremost be into the work and believe in yourself, which is so hard because you're already super sensitive, which is why you have the desire to express yourself, but then you're also supposed to believe in yourself. So it is a conundrum, but just writing a song that reveals your experience, I guarantee you will resonate with everybody else, because what we all have in common are our feelings. the story may be different, but there's pain, there's joy, there's love, there's loss, there's anger, there's disappointment. All of those things are universal, and it just is a matter of what the story is behind it. So I say don't try to sound like anybody else, just dig deep and just make the most honest version of your story as possible, because honesty is so much better than any dressing you put around it. I mean, I listened to Luke Combs doing Fast Car. I remember where I was when I heard Tracy Chapman do Fast Car, which was basically a guitar, a bass, and some drums, and her story made me cry. I was in Torino, Italy on the Jackson tour. I will never forget it. And that's what y'all can do. And we need songwriters to tell our stories. That is what documents who we are in our evolution as, as people. So just dig deep and roll tape. Yes.
Hello, I'm Gigi. So you mentioned how you want to release in different formats and how you're releasing this song Evolution about AI. How will you, in other ways, continue to grow with the innovation of the music industry, but also maintain your timelessness? And how would you give us advice as people, as we are only familiar with this internet-filled world? How would you tell us to get in touch with the physical side of music and what makes music from its origin?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I had, you guys may not know the name Carlos Santana. If you don't, I want you to go right back to school. And anyway, he came up to me once, this is years and years ago, and he said, "You really changed the molecules in the room." And I scratched my head and I was like, "Thank you." And there is deep truth in that. Music is very physical. We see it when we're working with kids who have autism. Vibrations are what make our cells change shape. And for me, because I came up when we still used 2-inch tape, we still dropped needles, we felt sound in a way that was with two speakers on, we didn't have headphones. I mean, it was like you laid between the speakers in your bedroom. I was very I bucked the idea that we were gonna make music on computers, that we were gonna use digital when everything had been the warmth of analog. Then it became about, wait, we're not gonna make albums or CDs anymore, we're going to stream them. And I was just I was so F this, I was very, very, and then it was TV shows where people can get famous for, and the reality of it is, it really comes down, and I can say this because I'm older, it really comes down to spirit and soul. So much of what is out there to distract you from the reality of what art is and how it can change things is exactly that, is a distraction. You write something that matters to you and you play it for someone else and it matters to them, I guarantee you, it will find its way. You don't have to be a publicist for yourself to have a career. In fact, I find that careers that are based on streaming are short careers. The reality of it is, it's fine to do that. I look at Zach Bryan and I go, okay, this is a guy who wrote songs that any person in our business might go, that's kind of an average song. He told his story, he uploaded it, and he lived it every day, and then he took it out to the people. And I think if you guys have the capacity to put something out and somebody latches onto it, that's great. But the reality of it is, it's getting in front of somebody and looking in their eyes and connecting and playing those words. I told my agent the other night, we were at Bottle Rock and Railbird, and Zach was the headliner, and I have a whole ton of hits. I think he's got maybe one song that gets played at radio, and 50,000 people sang every single word. So it can happen, and so much of it has to do with what your desire and what you're projecting, and I hate to use the word, but manifesting. It is about your connecting with humanity. It's about your connecting with each other. And the thing that this does is it disconnects us, like it gets between me and my friend. But this doesn't, you know, I can touch him, I can feel him, I can know him for 30 years, and that will never change anything. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Let somebody discover you, and not some version of you that you're selling. Because what you wind up having to sell, that will become a job. There are artists out there that are really good at it, but if you know, I just want to encourage you to make the connection with other humans.